Hey guys, uh, this is my first YouTube video and I am so excited to be actually doing this. And I'm sure you can tell already, but my YouTube videos are going to be very low-key, low maintenance. Today you just get to watch me clean part of my kitchen while I talk to you about all the things. So that's kind of what my vibe of this stuff will be like, and I'm really pumped for just getting to start making these videos, and I hope that they are informational and helpful to you guys, and also just give you a little bit of insight to just doing life with another person even through the internet, and that I can use some of the things that God has shown me and that I've experienced in my life, and the passions I have for healthy living and just researching your own stuff and learning your body and implementing that into your life, and that it can just be useful for you and encourage you and help give you some practical ways to do that as well. So I'm really excited to start these videos and just get to have some of these coming your way and make it feel a little bit more intimate and more homey than just the podcast episodes. And this way I can also focus in on specific topics and specific things that I can actually show you, or just get to dive in a little deeper. So yeah, I'm so excited. Thanks for being here and watching my first YouTube video. I'm gonna dive right in and just give a little bit of background as to cycle syncing, why I'm passionate about it, and what this is gonna look like because of how far I've come and everything like that. So cycle syncing is, there are 4 phases every woman experiences in their cycle. Typically it's about a 28 to 32 day window, and the day 1 through about 5, 6, 7, just depends on the woman, is the menstrual phase, and that is the first one where you start bleeding and obviously where you're on your period, and that is that part of the cycle. And then once you're done with your period, you go into your follicular phase, where your energy starts to increase and all of that, which takes you to your ovulation days. That typically lasts about a week, by the way, and then it takes you to your ovulation day, which is anywhere around day 14-ish, and then that's your peak, basically, where you're feeling the best, looking the best, all the things. And after you ovulate, then you hit your luteal phase, and that's about the 10 to 14 day period before your period. LOL. And that's kind of just when your body just starts to slow down. You need to take a little bit more care of yourself and be a little bit more intentional. Your body requires different things of you and all of that. And so that is the longest phase of your cycle as well. And then it just kind of repeats, because at the end of your luteal phase, you start your period and do it all over again. I'm really passionate about cycle syncing because it's really beneficial for us to know our bodies specifically, and the way that the Lord designed the woman's body is just so beautiful and so intentional, and we have ways that we can better aid ourselves in all of the phases of our cycle and just different requirements that our body needs as far as food and exercise and just what our body is capable of doing. Even our mind, body, and spirit kind of all go hand in hand in something like this. So in one phase, in the follicular phase, we could probably put in a 8-9 hour work day and be getting so much stuff done and be that feel doable of our bodies and our minds during that phase. But then during the luteal phase, we really don't have tons of ability to focus for really long periods of times, or certainly not to do the same thing all day or just to overexhaust ourselves. We then in that phase have to just kind of rest a little bit more, go to bed a little bit earlier, take care of ourselves just a little bit more intentionally. And it's just really beautiful that us women have the opportunity. And I hear so many women basically hating being a woman or just the things that we have to deal with, and I was one of those people. But it's really cool when you actually get to learn yourself and learn that the way God designed us is so specific and so unique, and that once you actually really learn your body and what your body needs at what time, and just healing the things that aren't going well in your body, it's actually really beautiful. And it's a really beautiful thing to be a woman, and the fact that we get to experience all these different things rather than just be on the same hormone cycle every single day like men. And we love men but it's just a little bit that much more special that we get to experience things the way we do, and it just has to be treated and taken care of properly. It's a big responsibility, but it's really beautiful to learn our bodies the way that we can. My story with my periods is a little crazy, and I did just film a podcast episode with my mom that will be up on my Intentional Living YouTube as well, but also all the podcast platforms if you want to check that out, where I go a little bit more into depth on what I experienced when I was starting my period at a younger age. But I'll touch on it briefly here just to give a little background before I talk about what the menstrual phase looks like for me nowadays. But when I started my period back when I was 12 years old in 6th grade, I had a lot of problems. It didn't necessarily start immediately, but it was within the next year or so after that, because in middle school, I would remember crying, begging my mom not to, first of all, I couldn't even go to school if I started my period, or if I was at school and I did, I had to have her come pick me up. I couldn't function. Literally, I was not doing anything but groaning and crying in pain all day long on at least the first, if not first and second days of my period. And I remember so many times screaming, crying, asking my mom, begging my mom to take me to the hospital because it was so unbearable. And I would bleed a lot, so much to where I would get lightheaded and all of the things. And it was just really brutal. And I went on a journey of kind of just figuring out how to heal from that. And it started with just the typical thing that our society likes to push these days, which is birth control. And I know people have mixed feelings on that, but I personally did not have good experience with it, and it really is just something that band-aids the problem and doesn't actually address the root cause. And so my body started getting used to it, and it was not benefiting me anymore, and was honestly giving me even more symptoms on top of that, what I was already dealing with. And so I stopped taking that my upper years into high school and decided I was going to go on a journey of researching what was going to be good for me and how to heal my body naturally. Then it led me to this season of really diving into seeing how you can heal your body with food, and I went on anti-inflammatory diets, which took a lot of the inflammation out of my body, which helped my cramps majorly. And then I also researched, and with the help of my mom and everything, we dove in to see what supplements would help sustain my body and help heal my body. And now I have a whole concoction, as I like to call it, that has truly made such a difference for me. And I also have pursued cycle syncing and all of that, which has really also made a difference and just allowed me to actually have freedom and feel and experience what women are supposed to when they're on their periods and going through their cycle. And I now have completely pain-free periods and only experience the normal things that women are supposed to. And I don't bleed as much. And it has truly been such a gift and a complete game changer for my life. Like, I can't even imagine how I would have continued functioning the way I was before. And now it's just made me so passionate to show other women that there is a possibility to actually heal what they experience, and we don't have to live in that much pain or that many problems when it comes to being on our period and just dealing with the things women deal with, because it really was never meant to be that way. And there's a lot of things in our environment that impact us for the negative. And I'm just really passionate about showing women how they can take control over that and know what's going into their bodies, how they're treating their bodies, what their body needs at different times, and that just embracing the cycle of a woman as something beautiful and something that makes you feel more equipped and more empowered to just know what's going on at all times in your body. I will talk in future videos about all the other phases of your cycle, but today I'm going to focus on the menstrual phase and kind of give you a little bit of insight into what my days look like when I'm on my period and what your body's going through at that time and what your body will need from you at that time. I am also going to insert a disclaimer right here. I'm obviously not a doctor, I'm not a professional, but what I am is someone who's done the research, who's experienced these things on my own. And so I just say all of this to encourage you to do the same, and you can speak to your doctor, you can do your own research, you can do the things that you need to do for your body, but I'm just sharing this as my own personal experience, and I just want you to do the same and really take anatomy over your own life and your own body and figure these things out for yourself that your body's going to need from you during this time, and just kind of encourage you to go on the journey that I did, not necessarily to come out with the results that I did with taking every supplement that I do or doing everything that I do, but just encouraging you to really do the digging, because God has given us an earth full of resources and things that He intended to help sustain our lives and our bodies and just to use for our good. And so there's a whole world out there to just explore and take with grains of salt and all of that, but just start simply, and something is better than nothing, and just put one foot in front of the other and start this journey of taking back your health, taking back your wellness, and like I said, doing the research on your own, because that's what we have to do. If you have any more questions after this video as well, please don't hesitate to reach out to me on any of my platforms or comment on these YouTube videos or anything like that. I would be more than happy to give you more insight or point you to the resources that I have used and just discuss with you a little bit further. So now, as we talk about the menstrual phase, this is the phase in your cycle where all your hormones are at the lowest, and extra self-care and rest is necessary. Things like it's very important to move your body always, 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 because if you don't, you can also just let the inflammation just sulk and sit there, and that will make your soreness worse and all of that. So it's really important to move your body, but it's also not important, or it is important to not overdo it as well, because that can also make things worse. Wow, I can't talk right now, guys. But anyways, so walking and light yoga and light Pilates and stretching, tons of stretching, is going to be the best for you during this phase. That way you are still moving your body and getting some stretching to combat all the soreness and all of that in, but you're not overdoing it to make it worse. And also, it is really important to eat antioxidant foods during this time and light foods. Warm foods are really good too to keep your body regulated. Cold is good to avoid at this point, because cold food will shock your system and just isn't suitable for your body during this time. Your body's craving just some warm, cozy, healthy, light food to help fight the inflammation, fight the soreness, and just make it feel good, basically to combat all the negative things that are going on in this time. Use food as medicine to help balance that out, and just be mindful of what you're actually putting in your body. Hearty stews, lean protein, bananas, watermelon, dark chocolate. One, it's an excuse to eat chocolate, and two, good quality dark chocolate has a lot of stuff that will turn into magnesium, which is really good for you. Lots of red meat. Good sourced beef is going to be really good for you at this time, because it also gives you a lot of protein and iron, and it's just really good for your body to have red meat during this time. Pineapple, drink lots of water and stay hydrated. Raspberry leaf tea is really good for you during this time to help combat the cramps and just the swollenness. Sweet potatoes, all the things. Ashwagandha, I love there's a functional drink that I have now that has some ashwagandha in it, and it just helps me feel a little bit more relaxed and at ease during this time. So anything you can find that's healthy that has something like that in it is going to be really good. Cinnamon, leafy greens, fruit, all the things that are very antioxidant and just going to be helpful to your body. I also have a mocktail that I'll link below from Lively that I just started using the last couple periods, and it is just super nice to have something sweet and a little extra special that's not just water to drink during this time, but it's all things that will benefit my body. And I won't lie, I do drink that one cold, but it is just knowing that all the ingredients in it are going to aid my body and are something that my body will need during the menstrual phase is really nice. And I just like to have that, like I said, to spruce up my dinner or my lunch or something like that. The first few days of my period for me just look like taking it slow, and I have a mixed work schedule with a couple days I go into the office, but it's still very low key when I go into the office, and then I have a few work from home days as well. And so depending on the days that I have to work on the day that I start my period, it'll look a little different, but most of those days I really just take things slow. I sleep in a little bit more in the morning because my body's craving rest, and then I get up and I have my hot lemon water just to help flush and reset my system, and spend time with the Lord, quiet time in the quiet with red light or hardly any light. And then I just try to get up, put something comfy on, and then get outside to get some morning light in my eyes first and some fresh air, and just walk, so that way I'm moving my body but not pushing it too hard. And then I like to stretch as well in the morning, and then I just kind of take my day slow from there, just depending on what I have on my schedule that day, and just try to listen to my body, not push it too hard. And as I'll talk about in some other videos of preparing for your period, I will also have a little bit lighter of a workload during that time, because I'll have prepared in other phases of my cycle, so I don't have to do as much. And then I will just continue through my day, listen to my body throughout the day with if I need a little bit more time to stretch or get up and take a walk in the middle of the day. And I will bring my lunch or plan my breakfast, lunch, and dinner as around my period for food that will aid me and kind of things that I will need in this time. And then usually when I get home in the evenings, I try to also relax, just kind of tidy up around the house, rest, watch a show with my husband or something like that. And then I like to sometimes take a detox bath, which is really nice as well and just really soothing for the body. And then the ultimate goal as well is to try to go to bed a little early, because again, your body's craving rest and just a little extra sleep and just being a little bit extra taken care of. And this will usually continue for the first few days of my period. And then as I get towards the end, mine typically lasts around 4 to 5 days. And as I'm in the last day 4 or 5 or so, my energy starts to pick up a little bit. So I'll add a little bit more things into my day and be able to have a little bit more energy to function throughout the day, or see friends, or hang out with people, or have a little bit later in the day, like not going to bed as early or whatever that may be. But that's typically how my period looks. And yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an insight into that. And like I said before, if you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to reach out, and you can expect future videos to come of the other phases and just discussions of these things in more depth. And I will also be linking all of my favorite products and kind of some of the things that I was talking about, like the mocktail, and some recipes and ideas for things while you're on your menstrual phase. I'll link that all down below. And as always, stay living intentionally, and God bless you, and thank you so much for being here and listening to this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.